Hey, welcome back to the Fun Astrology Podcast. It's Tuesday, December 17th. Thomas Miller back with you, and we have a beautiful, I'm talking gorgeous Grand Trine in the chart today that is worth talking about. And then if you carried over from yesterday's podcast, I am going to talk about this epiphany in the second half of this podcast. So let's talk real quick about this big Grand Trine because it is gorgeous. The moon in now Virgo is in a Grand Trine with, get this, Uranus in Taurus. And then if you picture Capricorn, okay, so think of, well, we're at Christmas time, right? And what is the story in the Bible when Mary and Joseph went to the inn and the inn was full, right? And that's what triggered the whole thing. Well, Capricorn is full. It's full of planets is what it is. Actually, there's one that's getting ready to leave. Venus is getting ready to exit, but still leaving Pluto, Saturn, the South Node, and Jupiter. Oh, this was funny. We were at this little lake area over the weekend, and they had a beautiful manger scene up on the hill. And the whole gang was there. The whole cast and crew. And I said, Majana, look, see, they're getting an astrology reading up there because the three wise men were peering down at the manger. And I was like, see, they're getting an astrology session right there. You got to understand who the Magi were. Google it. It's all right there. Okay, back to this story. So the house is full. The sun is knocking on the door. The sun today is now at 25 degrees Sagittarius. This beautiful trine, the reason it's so juicy is because it catches a whiff of the sun. It hits a direct hit with Jupiter and a pretty good hit with the South Node. Now, remember, like we were saying yesterday, Jupiter is in its, let's put it this way, it's in its happiest days of being in Capricorn right now because the sun is moving toward it. We'll cross it on, what did we say yesterday, December 27th. So that's something for it to look forward to. It is going to conjunct with the South Node, but when the moon throws a sextile or a trine in there, that is just welcome relief. So I would say if you otherwise kind of feel the energy of the day, you should feel some pretty good expansive energy today. And be on the watch because there could be some nice little surprise, some kind of Uranian unexpected nicety today. And this is only for today because obviously the moon is in there, so the moon will move and so will this. But the aspect with Uranus is going to stick around. That is there for a while. So this idea of something nicely unexpected coming into your life, that's in place. Ho, 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 and you're welcome. Okay, let's talk about this other little thing that came up that I thought was just really, really cool. We've been doing some pondering and meditating and driving down the road and listening to podcasts and talking, and this whole thing just got really, really clear. It was the combination between some of the discussions that we've been having about various things going on in our lives, the podcasts that we were listening to, and then just some good old epiphany along the way. So kind of a setup to this. Think about the areas of your life that you might have a question or an issue that the chart represents that you would like to dive into. The big ones are always money, career, relationship, and health. But there are other areas. But just think about an area of your life that you would like some answers, or some area that is maybe there's work to be done. What we do, here's the technique. Find that area in the chart. What sign and house represents it? And then you start to study that particular area, see what planets are in there, see if there are any aspects. And then what you do is you play one of the basic laws of the universe, the law of polarity, the law of duality, and you look at the exact opposite side of the chart. So, for example, if you're talking about a relationship, that's generally either the fourth house or particularly the seventh house. Right now, for example, I'm looking at a chart that has Cancer in the seventh house. All right, that could represent somebody in relationships who is very emotional, very nurturing, maybe a little too nurturing. Could be smothering, or it could be the crab, somebody who tends to pull away in their relationships. So let's say that that's a common theme that keeps coming up. A little bit too much emotional attachment, a little bit too much smothering, and then a pull away. And then for a little spice, it's not in there right now, but you could throw a planet in there. Let's say that Mars was in there in that kind of a condition. So Mars is not really happy in Cancer anyway. Mars is going to add a little grump to that. So it could be that that those emotional disappointments are volatile. And that's the issue that you have. That's the pattern. That's the thing that keeps coming up. What do? You look at the opposite side of the chart. What sign is that? Capricorn. And the opposite house from the 7th house is the 1st house. And when you put all that together, then you have Venus and Pluto and Saturn and the South Node and Jupiter and getting ready to be the Sun sitting in there, just feeding you all kinds of lines of what you could do with this. But basically, it's going to be around self-image, developing a stronger sense of yourself, and then bringing a lot of the transformational work in, represented by Saturn and Pluto. And that's just an example of like where my chart is just sitting right now to talk about today's sky. But you could use this on any given area, and I will tell you, I'm going to start doing some readings on this. So if you have a particular area of interest or question, email me at info@funastrology.com, and maybe we can ping pong a couple of things back and forth real quick, and a little beta version of this, because I'd like to see some of and hear some of the issues that the questions that you have the most of. And I'd be kind of fun to work through a couple of these. Just going to do a couple because time is very, very limited. But yeah, I would be happy to do that. And we'll talk more about the technique. But there is just some amazing wisdom for saying what area is going on, what do I need the answer in or for, and then looking at the opposite side of the chart. And that is using the energies of the universe and the very unique design of your birth chart to answer the very soul questions and life questions that we are all still wrestling with and dealing with in this thing called the Earth School. So that is golden, I will tell you. All right, thanks for listening to this one. We'll be back from the road one more day for Wednesday. Have a good Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow.